We're back here on the show, hitting the home stretch. We got Hunter-Williamson joining us, and Hunter, we do, and we're talking astrology. Hunter. There's so much that we can get into, Hunter. We were just talking about, you said something happened in January of this year.
Okay, well, yeah, the really sad thing about the world, and as we all know, we saw it all, is that in a matter of 3 weeks, we started with the horrific loss of Natalie Cole, and went right through Bowie. We went through Alan Rickman, who was oh my God, when I was an actor at school in Los Angeles, I loved the way that he spoke. And
he was good.
He had that nasal like me. I was told that recently as his joke. He said, well, you have that kind of nasal. I said, no, this is called allergies, winter allergies. But anyway, the thing that was amazing was in that period of time, we had a Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. Mm-hmm. So that rules your planet, Virgo, and Gemini. Mm-hmm. So what it means is repetitive, meaning the past. So 3 of those major famous people that passed away were Capricorn. Renee, Celine Dion's husband, God bless him.
Right.
David Bowie, who was a Capricorn with Moon in Aquarius, and he had Ascendant Aquarius, which is the Ziggy Stardust outer space stuff. Makes absolute sense. And then, there was one other famous person that was a Capricorn. I don't know if Natalie Cole was Natalie Cole Capricorn? Maybe she was.
I don't know.
Or Cancer sign. But then there was Alan Rickman, who was a Pisces, and I believe he had Moon in Capricorn. And then the 2 of the other fellows from the rock bands that we all knew in the 70s, and they passed away.
Yeah, who was that again? Lemmy?
Yes.
And
it was very heartbreaking.
Glenn Frey.
Lots of musicians.
I have to say that in all honesty, I love David Bowie. Growing up, Let's Dance was more me. I mean, I remember Ziggy Stardust, but I'm 51. So I remember just the tail end of that. But I mean, the big thing with me was Alan Rickman. That to me was just, I loved him in Sense and Sensibility and Love Actually. And
I loved him in that space, what was that space movie?
I haven't seen that one.
It's great.
Someone has mentioned that to me.
Really funny. Good movie.
What was the one where he won the Golden Globe where he plays a criminal? He plays a criminal in the early 90s, before Sense and Sensibility, or right in around that time.
Oh, God, I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, I just loved him. It was just, my heart just went, whoop. I'm sure along with Emma Thompson and everybody else that was just devastated over his loss.
You really feel that on the collective, too. You really feel these people leaving.
I want to say, you just mentioned January, and I know, Sandra, you were here last night, and you had the conversation with Rose about some split in the Earth thing in January, and I'm wondering if
it could have been. It could have been. I know from an astrology standpoint, one of the other things that's really amazing that's happening, not to cut off your story with your girlfriend last night, is the fact that we're going through the last eclipse affecting the 4 cardinal signs. So there's 2 of them. So we have your full moon on Sunday night, Monday, in Virgo, conjunct Jupiter. Sagittarius is sitting there. Then we have the eclipse season. So March the 28th is the lunar eclipse in Libra. And then around I think it's the 9th or 10th of April is the last one in Aries of these last 2 years. So every cardinal sign, Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, and Aquarius, have been zap dab in the middle of this. So for you, it's affected career deliberations and your home environment. For me, it's been an opposition, the same, being a Capricorn. For you, because you've also have Jupiter, Sagittarius, and Virgo, this is one of the most prolific, expansive years of your life.
Awesome.
So the first 6 months is more drawing a line in the sand. I've had enough of the way things have been for 12 years. You've already gone through the 6 months of that.
Okay, all right.
Now the next 6 months going forward is, I'm changing all of that. Now we're going to put this into action. We're going to make this damn well work because this is the way that I want things to be. And I've said this to Virgos, and they're all, I actually like to turn over the apple cart. I live in the colonnade, so there's a couple of Virgos in there that are a little annoyed with me at the moment. But I've actually kicked the apple cart, annoying them purposely, trying to be the devil's advocate. One of which now I'm so thrilled for her. Even though I get on her nerves, she's going to take a very adventurous leap moving. I am so thrilled for her. She's mad at me, but I think later she'll realize, Hunter was a bit of a pain in the ass to me, but he got me to move on and really start to experience again rather than exist. And the other lady I love dearly is at a loss. She's just not willing to take that risk. I think you hit a certain age, even me at 51, and you think, do I do this? So
actually, at 51, I'm 51 too, and actually at at that age, I'm actually more wanting to take risks because it's like, okay, I have less and less time. So, you know, what do I have to
Don't
lose?
put that out to the universe, though.
What?
Less and less time.
Oh, I don't even care about that. I have no attachment to it.
Good.
At all. None. But actually, because I use it as a tool to actually give me the courage to step in. So I actually turn that around and say, okay, you know what? I'm doing it. Whereas before I would think, you know, oh, I'll do it down the line. Now I just, no, do it now.
Great.
Right? So that could actually turn around for us, right?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Can I just talk about something that I realized this morning? Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting. I'm a firm believer. I've spoken about this before, about hawks and seeing things. My biological mother is part Native. She's one quarter Aboriginal Native.
Wow.
And Jeanette Lavelle is one of my friends from Wiki, and a lot of the gals from up there. You know, I know a lot of them. And one of the things that we've spoken about is when you see an eagle, that it is the forever seer, or the hawk, which is forever watching, like the great eagle, the great hawk,
right?
The great hawk, yeah, the creator.
Okay.
So yesterday I sort of thought, okay, I'm seeing this. I'm changing my life. I want to change things. I'm bored. I'm existing. I want to change. And I already knew that things were in work since January, but not fully yet. I had to change my thinking. So out of the blue, I open up one of the emails that I get from a gal named Kristen, who is involved with the law of attraction in Los Angeles, who I've got to meet. I love her. Love Shakti Gawain. We've talked about her before in the show here. Yeah. Louise Hay. So out of the blue, she sends something that's really quite miraculous. So for years and years, since one of my close friends, Carol, handed me the book Creative Visualization, I would do it and I would be successful with two things. If I say I wanted a really sexy lover, I just sort of visualized what I was looking for, and most times I found it. Didn't go anywhere besides that. That's all it was just the visualization to one element. The second thing I would do is I'd manifest antiques that I was passionate about. Because when I was a boy, these certain things were there. Flow blue china, certain things that I was interested in the 90s. But when she sent me this today, she said the hidden link to do with quantum physics. That our heart has far more passionate resonance than our mind does. So if you are passionate about your creative visualization and your belief, you'll manifest that for good or bad. I'd forgotten that. I thought
that goes to the emotions when we're talking.
That's right. That's why
it's not the thought,
the flow blue was happening. Because I had an emotional attachment to the flow blue because it reminded me of my late grandmother and my late mother. So I would manifest it.
That's why I got so many big screen TVs around here.
You got it.
Because you love to look at yourself?
You know the boys that obey Blue Radio. I love that shop. I love going in there just to look at their thin TVs. My God, these things are slim. Yeah. But I'll tell you something really amazing, too. They did an experiment in England in quantum physics where they took two rats, mature rats, male and female, and they would actually put them on an electric charge whenever they would put cherry blossoms near them. Okay? So they did this as a sample to see where this comes from in regards to the manifestation of our very reality that we're living. For 4 generations after, every one of their offspring, and their offspring's offspring times 4, were afraid of cherry blossoms. So what is this telling us in our psyche? Right? Grandmother, the depression. Money doesn't grow on trees. You can't achieve this. You shouldn't do that. A woman shouldn't have sex out of wedlock. A man shouldn't be homosexual. 25 years doing readings, the list, I can continue it. So all of a sudden, it was like a warp hit me. It was like, it was like the missing link. I have manifested this. Why did I go to Cabbagetown? My biological father grew up in Sackville. His father was seen as a ne'er-do-well. His grandparents were wealthy in Bloor West. But his father was seen as a failure. My father remained a conscious failure. Even though I was adopted by adopted parents, my psyche was a birth mother living in Yorkville, pregnant out of wedlock in the 60s, and a father who was seen as a failure. So I went back to Cabbagetown, where he grew up, and they dated, for me to remain not really as successful as I don't mean success in material standards. I mean that I wasn't really very happy.
But Cabbagetown's an up.
It is now, but it wasn't in the 60s.
No, that's why they call it Cabbagetown.
But you see, when I still go to Cabbagetown, though, I have a lot of my friends in there that aren't happy. They appear happy. They appear happy. But what is it that they keep maintaining?
I want to know why.
So it's maintenance, right? It's a maintenance thing.
Rats.
But isn't that sad? I mean, it's sad for the little rats.
Well, yeah, I have a real issue with that.
I do too.
Oh,
but I
my
mean, the one thing that has helped, let me tell you something.
But wait a second. Why do we think that their behavior is our behavior?
But we are human animals.
No, that's why they experiment.
But they don't have ego. We do.
They do, but I know that. But there is a truth to what he's speaking about. Like with this quantum physics guy, have you ever seen What the Bleep Do They Know?
Yes.
I love that. Because my cat, I was telling the gal that was in the waiting room there about my old cat, Emily. So one of my friends who's studied veterinary, she's on her way out, you should really do her a favor. I said, well, I don't believe in that. I said, first of all, because they said the cat is not getting enough protein from the food that she will only eat. The poor thing was abused as a kitten. So I said, I'm going to give her milk. I'm going to give her cream or a little bit of Ensure. Well, she's gained a whole pound and her muscle's coming back.
Wow.
And she's 19. So therefore, you see, it's mind over matter too, right? Is that what we're projecting is our very reality. We do have ego. We were the only animal in the animal kingdom that will kill for sport. The animal kingdom will not kill for sport.
That's right.
So we can change many things within our own human experience. We have that ability to change these things. I think it just comes down to being able to believe. It's the magic in believing, right? A very powerful book, right? Napoleon Hill, there were some of these people that came into that conscious reality a long time ago that started to realize it's not just about having a ton of material things, because you don't own it. All of it's on loan. Every home in Rosedale, the people that built it are dead. Well, they are. I mean, it's beautiful, but they're man-made structures. All the palaces in Europe, they're all gone. The thing is, we have the ability, though, to manifest love, abundance, your health, great friendships, be able to boost great friendships.
I wonder, Hunter, I mean, you even cautioned Sandra when she said, not a lot of time left. People talk about, and I was joking, the rings of immortality, and the placebo effect, the ability to manifest everything you're talking about, but now even things like free energy. I don't know if you've heard about these Kesh free energy plasma reactors, but they're almost like a technology that is, I'll just give you an example. They're saying that I saw a video of a guy who's implemented one of these devices, and he's channeling the device. The device is talking to him, and it's almost like the device...
I'm not shocked about that.
It's almost like the device is a symbol of what is possible, right? To create because if we had free energy, we would have environmental sustainability, and we would be able to have so much more abundance in the world and support. And I'm wondering if the astrology is saying that maybe we're on the verge of something like that, like an earth-changing, something good, not necessarily a world war cataclysm, but something that could be really awesome.
Well, I'm very worried about the human ego. I'm worried about mankind and about material and about acquiring material and control. And I mean, there's two big superpowers in the world that we can all imagine. We'll probably go head-to-head eventually over something. The thing that you're talking about is fascinating. One of my exes, who's a phenomenal individual, brought to my attention many years ago the movie Fahrenheit 451. I love it, Julie Christie.
Mm-hmm.
In that movie, do you remember the screens that she talked to through Skype?
Yeah.
So what is it that we're actually manifesting here? Is it that man is evolving to a certain level where we're creatively visualizing these very things and creating a Tron?
A Tron?
A what?
Well, that's what we're doing.
What's a Tron?
You mean
Tron, the actual robot. They're actually going to implement into your brain. Why wouldn't they do that? And I mean, maybe the flying saucers that we see, that I do believe are true, how do we know it's not us? That we haven't created a DNA structured being that does not need sexual reproductive organ, that comes back to take DNA because they've actually exhausted the aspect of interbreeding. There's so many things that are part of this experience that we are right now taking for granted that we have no idea about.
Well, we don't even know the nature of reality.
We
right?
don't. I've seen ghosts. I've seen ghosts. I have a photograph on my phone of a ghost at our family property.
I understand the nature of reality.
So what is the reality?
Yeah.
I just want to hear out of curiosity.
You might have to take the course, but go ahead, Sandra.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. No, you create your own reality.
Sure you do.
We create our own reality in this paradigm through our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. When we move to the next paradigm, which is unity consciousness, it's consciousness creates, and it's a completely different switch.
That's right.
So it is very quantum physics.
Yeah.
And so when you start to understand that work and step into understanding that work, you understand the nature of reality through experiencing it and through vibrationally knowing.
That's right.
It's not something you can speak of. When you say, who am I? It's something you actually experience. It's beyond words. So it's beyond this dimension. So we do go interdimensional and to the cosmic level of awareness and beyond the earth. And so what you're talking about is very accurate, actually, very accurate with this whole ego ego mind, and that's what we were talking about when we were talking
Well, that's
about
primitive man. That goes back to us being cavemen, or I even think, honest to God, I swear we're so close to apes, it's scary. I mean, just psychically looking at them, I'm sorry.
Yes.
We defecate, fornicate,
absolutely.
we had tailbones.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
And you can see the aspect of the human animal. I mean, what was World War II? It was the human animal. It was not necessarily, it was intellectually programmed, but those poor men there with guns on shoulder, killing family, killing other human animals, was the animal instinct, like Vikings, that show. I mean, it was the human animal.
And we've moved from the human animal to the human mind, which is worse than the human animal, right? And that's the ego. We are so ensconced in our ego identity now that we have gone down, 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 and we're almost at the bottom.
Well, base level.
My we have a little bit more to go, and we're done.
Well,
and then this experiment is all over.
Hunter.
The human experiment's all over.
Okay, tell your
Well,
story.
no, my mom growing up, my mother, I love my adopted mom, and I were buddies. I was just looking at her picture today, actually. And it was amazing because the family are very open about it now, but I never really understood, and I had a karmic relationship to her. When I found out my family were from Baltimore, I know I had a connection to the South in America in a past life, and my mother's ancestors were part African American. She was part black. And no one ever spoke about it, because in the 50s, my mother was sort of seen as a pinky, if you've ever seen that horrible movie. And she was beautiful, but she had straight hair, nice blue eyes, but you could see. Now I could see. My brother looks mixture, like he looks mix. And that's their child they had after they adopted me. And I had such a close relationship with her and my grandmother. And the thing that was amazing is I now know that I picked to come to them. It's really weird when I look at my life now after how it's been and the experiences I've had and doing the readings for 25 years. I know all this was meant to be. I don't discredit, anything, any relationship, experience, high, low, all of it I love,
Yes.
I think the goal that what you're trying to get at, that I keep trying to really reiterate upon clients of mine, is rise above. Enjoy what you feel you need. If you want a Range Rover, it's a great technical breakthrough in technology. Enjoy it. Don't lord it. Don't lord it.
Yes.
Be kind,
Yes.
be compassionate. When I came here today, I saw this
Yes.
poor fellow in front of Canadian Tire standing there, and I know how much the pauper's amount of money it is for a senior citizen today, that it doesn't have
Yes.
a pension above and beyond Canada pension. And my heart just went out to him. I didn't have a ton of money to hand somebody either, and then I turned around and he was gone. And I thought, well, maybe that was there just to awaken me again to that reality, that we are all part of this collective consciousness. And if we're able to rise above and say, you know what, let's help, let's not discredit somebody's reality. It reminds me of the Astrology the other day. Somebody wrote about the line from Miracle on 34th Street when the beautiful actor, can't remember his name now, he was the dark-haired, very handsome actor, portrays the lawyer, helping Kris Kringle, Santa Claus. And he mentions that remark to the judge about, if you were to tell the world that Santa Claus was a myth, would it be destroying the myth for the sake of the myth, or would it be destroying a lot for sake that is absolutely unnecessary? So some of our myths that we carry, some of our fables that we co-produce, bring about a lot of love and joy into people's experience. Whether they be spiritual philosophy that we have no real bona fide proof, as in what do we need, written on vellum or written on dead tree to believe it. You see what I mean? Like
Yes,
there's a lot
absolutely.
of consciousness that is individual, like you said. It's within the individual's right to believe. I don't discredit somebody walking around with Hermes on their Fendi that doesn't have a pot to piss in.
Yeah.
Good for them if they believe and they've treasured this beautiful green sweater.
Yeah.
Right? Because some lamb is laid back to have itself sheared, sometimes in pain, to give of that fur to make that sweater that we take for granted to warm us.
Yes.
So it's a deeper understanding with all of it. There's a mediumship too, like in everything also. There's a mediumship energy of everything that's ever been touched.
What do you mean by mediumship?
Mediumship is an energy that is above all, everything that's ever existed.
Okay.
So you take a tree and you, like my piano at home is from family. It's 200 years old. So you sadly have ivory on the keys, which I do not agree to, but there's ivory on the keys. You have ebony, you have rosewood, you have walnut, all these living beings.
Yes.
Then you have man-made. The men that formatted that piano. The people that strung the piano with metal that was formed. You have people that have played it for 200 years, people that have repaired it for 200 years. So all of that energy is encapsulated in the atoms that actually contain quantum physics again.
Yes, yes.
So you see, all of these things are happening at the same time. That's
Yes.
why it is layer upon layer upon layer. It is so difficult. You know, when I read someone, everything's coming at me. Like everything. Like, you know, sometimes, you know, I'll get really uptight with somebody and I'll know that they've said, oh, this guy's sort of an ass. And then, but you have to be careful, because within a split second, you could say, can I buy you a coffee? And that conscious initial belief about that person's an ass can change and say, you know what? Maybe Hunter really isn't that bad. But our mind has caught the first judgment without stepping back from it and saying, let things relax for a minute. Let things relax. So you see, it's so difficult. It's layer upon layer.
So I'd like to ask you about, with everything that you've just said and looking back at it, and our lives are a great gift and they're filled with meaning, right? And it seems to me that we're at an almost apocalyptic moment in history, in the sense that I think there's a lot of people that are either feeling or sensing a big change going to come, like Sandra, like we're rising to a new dimension or to a new kind of light,
beyond ego,
something. And there's and yet you look at the world, and we're on the verge of a possible world war that could annihilate all life on the planet and that sort of thing. And Hunter, I mean, what do you have to say? What does astrology have to say about that, or what do you have to say about that?
Out there?
Well, I mean, astrology. One of the things that's very dangerous is that not dangerous. I shouldn't say that. So, one of the things that's happening right at this exact second with the full moon Monday is that we have the North Node and we have Jupiter in Virgo. We have a full moon in that constellation. We're in Pisces, but the constellation of the full moon is in Virgo. So this will bring about really important news. Something will happen at the world level, okay?
Now, are you talking politics, do you
Politically,
think?
yes,
War,
but politics also has a lot of showmanship. I mean, they make better actors than most that win Oscars.
That's true. That's true, actually. It's a very good point.
But the thing that's amazing is that'll show itself there. There will be a little skirmish between America and China, by the way, this year.
Okay.
By June. There will be a skirmish. Probably the island development in the South Pacific. In the eastern South Pacific. Western South, their east, our
South
west.
China Sea.
The China Sea. But one of the things that's really quite interesting is we're going through a cognizant awakening. Now remember something. Through plague, 100 years ago, you had influenza killing millions of people all over the world in a very short period of time. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether this is necessarily man-made. Sometimes I think that the universe takes credence and actually, the hand of God, that whole yod, which is the North Node, Jupiter and Virgo. Sometimes the universe steps in and does things. Mm-hmm. Massive earthquake, tidal wave hits the whole western coast and knocks out. It's sorrowful, but I mean, is it the universe saying, well, you pushed it just too damn far, and we're just going to step in? Mm. You're not going to have.
But it's almost
power.
like
so
it could be.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It could be catastrophic in the sense that it really could end. Humanity, right? A nuclear. Even the Fukushima thing, some people are saying it's already too late.
Or is it also Hollywood procuring that? There's a new movie, is there, about something about London where everything's exploding?
Oh yeah. London has fallen.
Yes, I mean this is a very sad element, because remember the human mind. Think about Fahrenheit 451. What have we manifested? The whole element of Martians and Hollywood, and then all of a sudden people started seeing flying saucers. Do you remember the story about Columbus when he was talking with the native chiefs? And this is a very true, accurate story, apparently. He either was in South America here, I don't remember, don't quote me, because I'd be seen as a liar if someone quoted me. But this aspect was true. So he's saying to the medicine man and the native chief, in the best explanation he could, our ships are in the harbor. They couldn't see them. They could not see the ships. They had never been a part of their experience. They had never conceptualized a ship.
Right.
So it took them a long time to come to reality, their visual reality, that those ships actually existed there in the ocean. So therefore, what is true and what is false? It's like I say to my clients, so you go out with your lover and you're having a great time, and they cause you an orgasm? No, they don't. You cause your orgasm. Cranium, nerve endings, senses. You. So that's why girls will say to me, I love him so much, but I can't connect with him. I know what that means. Wink, wink, nod, nod. The reality is because you're not in the now with that person. Heart again. So we're going back to heart, emotional, conscious, cranium, third eye, reality. You're manifesting, but if the heart is not there, the reality has not become concrete. So you'll say to somebody, what color is the wall? They'll say, oh, it's white, some kind of white. Or you would say, no, it's white, and there's stain marks, and there's this, and they didn't paint there, there used to be a pipe, and this and that. And that. You see what I mean? So, again, you're asking me the world, back to that, in that roundabout way, your reality of what the world could be may not be mine. And then you might have 1 million people in Tibet praying, we're still allowed to pray, sadly, praying that this does not become that reality. I don't necessarily know that that's really the right way. Mm-hmm. Holy water, let's not see this be, the devil be it. Why would we then procure and give that energy reality? Because you're actually foisting that energy on what you don't want. You just want things to be seen as beautiful. Mm-hmm. So therefore, life is beautiful. You will create, like that movie, the beauty out of what is left. Bowie said at the end of his experience, I shall leave this world, but I have given. That is a true quote. So he's left, but he hasn't left because we have the magic of motion picture. We have the magic of the recorded voice. We have all these things. We have video. We have all of this stuff.
Do you realize how much you have shifted and changed since the last time you've been here?
I have evolved a lot.
Wow.
I don't know why. I think it's the sinusitis. You know what's really interesting?
Wow.
A lady came, I should get on your show. She might have been on here. She wrote Life After Death. She's in Yorkville, her office. I can't remember.
Wow.
Smack me, she's one of my clients. But you should have her on the show because her and I spoke.
Please have her call. That would be a great interview.
She said my sinusitis is psychic. She said this is happening. It's an energy thing. You're swelling because of the energy that's transmitting. It's a left lobe, right lobe, right in between the third eye. She said this is happening because you're transmitting. Because I've done everything. And she said, no, this is happening for another reason.
I absolutely can believe that,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You have shifted immensely. You're not the same person.
Well,
just as much fun, but not the same person.
You know what it is? The mediumship thing has happened a lot. It's actually, I don't scare myself. I'm not afraid of ghosts as I was. I was actually afraid. Remember when Nicholas and I came on? And I was going to buy the family property in Caring Place. And I did, and I backed away from it because it was really the wrong decision at the time. That house was extremely haunted. And I have a photo, I told you, with the little child and the ghost of the woman in the cape and everything. That was just all to do with ancestral, and it was just not the right decision. But the thing that's amazing is I can actually pick up antiques now. And I can sense it's like a scene from, Mulder and Scully, going... And of all these different incarnations of what happened when. And when I walked to the property, I could sense the slaves that were there. And I knew the area where the gating had been, where they actually had all been buried in a mass grave. I just knew all this stuff. And it actually is pretty freaky. I don't want to experience things like that. It bothers me tremendously. But it's there. It's just, I don't go near graveyards because I sense things.
You just have to manage it. Because you really can't turn it off.
You can't. I've talked to mediums before. I've never got the chance yet to meet Long Island medium. Sure, I'll meet her. But she is phenomenal. I mean, she uses automatic writing, and I think she is accurate. There's a part of it that's mind reading, and there's also that spirits are there. I mean, ghosts are around. Mm-hmm. I have a piano where a little girl was at the seat of our family piano during a dinner party one night when I was at my house in Cabbagetown. Scared the daylights out of me. I looked into the corner of my eye and I saw a little girl in this ruffled skirt. And it was like ding, ding. And we heard the ding, 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 ding.
Wow. And
the piano was not fixed. I mean, the soundboard's not broken. It's from 1813. And my ex said, there's somebody at the piano. I said, I know. It's a little girl. There's a little girl there. And it just ruined the whole party, really, because a lot of my female friends said, well, we really have to go. We're going to go to, Karen's Wine Bar or somewhere to get the hell out of here as fast as possible. But we're going to leave now.
Don't take it personally.
But things like this happen. I mean, they are there. My brother was a biker. He's still sort of a biker. I've recollected this year. I love him dearly. Little monkey. He's 47. He's a little monkey. He's taller than me. But he has said, when you were a kid, he said, you used to freak me out. He always knew. He said, when we went to Scotland, I'd go to the restroom. You had to go to the back of this little old English cottage. And I came back and he's like this at the edge of the bed. And he remembered this story. And he said, the woman came to the door with little spectacles and this wrap on. And this was the ghost of my grandmother's great-grandmother. And he saw her. But they're around. They're here. There's energy all the time, and people find it fascinating because they're looking.
Okay, Hunter, not too much time left, but
I could just keep talking. I'm like an ever-ready battery.
Listen, a couple of years ago when you were first here, you said we are, the astrology, we were going to hit 3 or 4 critical points over the next couple of years. It seems to me we may be through that now.
No,
and then
April.
We have to ask with the U.S. election and Bernie Sanders.
Wait.
I think that Hillary might win.
Oh,
I know.
God, you've got to be kidding.
I like Hillary, but the thing you have to understand about Mr. Sanders is I like him. If you're looking at him from a very visceral standpoint, and I'm saying this in a very crass way, I feel intuitively he's a little too old for the 21st century. That's all I feel. I like him.
She's not?
I think she is too, but thank God for cosmetic surgery. But I mean, sorry. But it's true. I'll get it done too. I don't care.
Politics are the new Hollywood. Hollywood's the new politics.
Well, they all had work done. I mean, apparently they say Kennedy really had little touch-ups here and there. But anyway, the thing is, I think that America is in... America has Pluto opposing them. So does Canada. Pluto is in the midstream of Capricorn, so it's sitting between the 11th and the 16th of January. So it is directly opposing the actual signing of the American independence, like their actual, Declaration of Independence. It is opposing them. Right. So they are up huge to-do to us. They're in humongous... So is Canada. We don't see it yet, but we are. That's why Justin Trudeau's a Capricorn with Moon and Aries. So he's part of the story. He was destined. He also has Libra ascendant, like his father was Libra.
Okay, wait,
so
is this good or bad? Can you translate that?
No, he's good. No, I think Justin's great. He will live and learn. He'll trip and he'll pick up and he'll dust off. And he's a Capricorn, the old goat. He will push forward. He's got the beautiful looks, which also aids us. And remember something, what we look at is what comes through the door. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I'm a little concerned about with America is I'm worried America could make an absolute swing decision like Canada did, which sometimes, yourself could not necessarily be the smartest decision made. Because they make a decision based upon, Bill's still there with Hillary, isn't he? You see what I mean? Bill's still there. And I mean, Bill was fantastic for the time. Yes. I remember the early 90s. I was at school in LA.
Yes.
The thing that it's a really tough call right now. It's a very tough call.
So, but Trump is out?
The thing with Trump, I'll tell you what's really interesting about Trump. Trump has Saturn in Sagittarius opposing him. He will be held fully bloody accountable. Let me tell you something. A friend of mine just got her Range Rover, all the cadoots for her. Great. I think the car's fun. And I was in there looking at the big, huge monstrosities, the Benzes and the all these other big monstrosities. And I thought they were fun. Hey, they're automobiles, man-made, foreign, whatever. And the fellow said to me, he said, Trump Tower now, if you get a condo, is going to give you a free roller. I said, he's having that much trouble selling his penthouses? She says, you didn't hear it here. So you want to buy a penthouse in the Trump Tower, you get a Rolls Royce. There you go. Then you can really feel like Zsa Zsa Gabor. God bless her. She's still alive.
I was going to buy a Rolls anyway, but now...
Buy the condo.
Do I'll tell you something. They're fun cars. They're fun. They're hilarious. I find them very Jessica Rabbit.
Of course you do.
So, Hunter, just getting back to the U.S. with the opposition... And then you got your foreign engagements, like the Middle East and all that. What's going to happen?
Well, the Middle East are really pinching because look at their oil prices have collapsed. So what made them millionaires is starting to fall apart.
But aren't they the ones doing that?
They may be. But I mean, look at Asia. I mean, Asia's in trouble because now Asia's falling and sliding, and all the truth about the mistreatment and the cruelty. I can't say this on air. Probably I'll get shit for this, but take a look at what they do to get Goose Town. You will probably never buy a comforter or a down jacket again in your life. When I saw that, I was like...
That's why I'm vegan.
But anyway, so, we're in a massive transition. But then again, maybe this mass transition isn't wrong. Maybe this crash is important for things to be righted. We know everything goes so far right that it has to swing to left and it has to find its way somewhere in the middle.
Now, you mentioned April. What's happening now?
Well, April are the eclipses, right? So you have... March 28th, during Aries, the lunar eclipse in solar or lunar, sorry, don't quote me, I don't remember, in Libra, and then you have the secondary one in Aries, and that ends that cycle, and then there's another one, I think, that's in Taurus Scorpio. That starts the Taurus Scorpio eclipses.
And then it's going to be smooth sailing after that?
Well, I mean, the world's ever changing. I mean, like I said, this hand of God, this yod, is pretty powerful. It's placing people where they're supposed to be.
But if we're looking for a silver platter, ain't going to happen.
I don't think there's ever been a silver
own.
platter. I don't think there's ever been a silver platter. I mean, we look back on the past as how wonderful. I used to say that to my mom as a child. They said, wasn't it wonderful? And all these people were slaughtered over 12 years or whatever, from 35 right through until 48 people were still dying. And then you had, everything was pink and blue and great big huge Buicks and, oh, let's dance to Elvis.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me was a complete Band-Aid to what had happened a decade before. A decade is nothing. Look at 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I was on your show 8 years ago
Yeah.
with Nicholas, 7 years ago.
Wow.
You see what I mean? How fast life goes. Shoo.
Yeah.
So we're in for still some major stuff, but this is a good year for you.
Okay.
All Virgos out there, get on it. Stop bitching and complaining about what you don't have and work with what you can have and change things.
Okay, Hunter.
Amen to that. That's actually good advice for everybody.
Capricorns are in a good position. They can.
Okay, Hunter, this has been great. Now, do you want people to get in touch?
Sure.
And how do they do that?
Well, they can call me directly at 416-707-5808. They can go on my websites. The design one is hunter-williamson-design.com, and the psychic one is psychic-hunter-david-williamson at yahoo.ca.
Psychic
Hunter David Williamson. At yahoo.ca.
It's awesome having you on
Great.
again.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You are a different person, but just as enjoyable.
Great. Well, I want to get rid of my sinus thing, so.
Well, come back when that's fixed up.
No, we want the psychic. We want the mediumship. Don't ever fix that.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time right
Bye,
here
guys.
at thatchannel.com.
Bye-bye.